The 1960s were all about civil rights, their protests, their leaders, and their fight for freedom. One of the leaders of the civil rights movement was Martin Luther King. He marched, he argued, he spoke, and he started the sit-in.
A sit-in was a form of protest where citizens and activists would sit at the counter until served. The reason this was effective was because many business owners would rather give the activists what they want than cause a scene at their business.
But sometimes violence was unavoidable. People sat at counters for hours waiting to be served, while anti-civil rights activists poured drinks on them, beat them, and burned their cigarettes on them. It was intolerable treatment, but the activists stayed until served. These sit-ins soon became a very popular way of protest, and they did not break any laws. Cops and guards against civil rights soon became frustrated with these sit-ins.
Sit-ins soon spread around the country from deep in the South to the far North. Sit-ins were used almost everywhere to solve racial and social injustice. This was a hard form of protesting to break, unlike other illegal activities, because this act was legal. Sitting in front of popular places was another form of a sit-in. People sat there for lengthy periods of time, displaying signs promoting equality for all races.
In order to get their message across, activists used outrageous actions. For example, people would take a bath in the middle of the street with newspapers displaying freedom. Soon, the press found out about this non-violent way to protest, and it hit the papers. It was all over. New York Times, Detroit Free Press, Los Angeles Times, and the Wall Street Journal. People were angered and wanted all these protests to stop immediately.
The anti-civil rights activists found out about the sit-ins and were angered about the idea of a non-violent form of protest. It was hard to stop because the activists weren't breaking the peace. Therefore, they could not be arrested for the protesting. Fighting for what you believe in has come far since the 1960s. It is still going on today. People are marching, sitting, speaking, and having sit-ins for what they believe in. This will continue to go on for many more years.